Without objection. Senator from South Carolina.
Thank you. Vote-a-rama is upon us. Stay hydrated. Try to keep good cheer. We're going to have lots of amendments today and kind of talk about where we differ on certain things, which would be good for the country. What I hate the most is that we're doing a partisan COVID bill for the first time as a nation, and I don't know why. Because on March 5th, 2020, 96-1, we appropriated $8 billion when we just began to understand what COVID was about. March 18th, $355 billion, 90-8. March 25th, $1.9 trillion. So March 5th to the 25th, we spent well over $2 trillion. The average vote, 96-1, 90-8, 96-0. April, we spent $355 billion by voice vote. September 30th, 2022, $8 billion, 84-10. December the 21st, 2022, $1.04 trillion, 92-6. So it's not like we can't work together on COVID. You had a Republican president, you had a Republican Senate, and a Democratic House, and we're able to come together as a nation, but that is all over now because my Democratic colleagues have chosen to go another way because they can. They have all the power. They have the House, the Senate, the White House. They've chosen to do a $1.9 trillion package without any effort at all, in my view, to try to find common ground. 90% of this money's got zero to do with COVID. It is and every time Senator Schumer says it makes me believe it is. So another point for the American people, of all the money I just described to you that we appropriated in a bipartisan fashion, we haven't spent it all yet, but we're going to spend a $1.9 trillion, even though we hadn't spent the earlier money. Of the administrative actions, we got still $200 billion left to spend. Of the legislative appropriations, we appropriated $4.1 trillion. We've got $1 trillion we haven't spent yet, but we're going to spend a $1.9 trillion more before we spend what we spent in the past. The Federal Reserve set aside $5.9 trillion to help business. They've only spent $2.8 trillion, so there's a lot more capability there. The economy is showing signs of life. The vaccine is out. Things are looking better. Seems to me we'd want to slow down and spend the money not spent wisely before we embark on a $1.9 trillion spending spree. Most of it doesn't have much to do, if anything, with COVID. They're doing it because they can, and there'll be a lot of amendments talking about better ways to spend this money. The minimum wage has been dropped out, but here's what's in this bill. $20 million for the preservation and maintenance of Native American languages. That might be something we want to do, but we should go through the appropriations process, have hearings, not put it on a COVID bill. $135 million for the National Endowment of the Arts. Maybe something we want to do, but not on a COVID bill. $135 million for the National Endowment for Humanities. Again, the same concept. $200 million for the Institute of Museum and Library Services. What's that got to do with COVID? Nothing. PPP loans for labor unions. Paid leave fund for federal employees. $86 billion bailout for union pensions. What's that got to do with COVID? Nothing. $350 billion for blue states. We changed the formula under this bill, dramatically different than the one we passed 96-0. So I could go on and on. Money for schools. Most of the money in this bill, $129 billion for K through 12, only $6.4 billion is to be distributed this year. Most of the money is spent from 2022 to 2028. Hopefully we'll get control of COVID by 2028. Again, this is an opportunity to spend money on things not related to COVID because they have the power to do so. It's going to be a long day. We're going to be talking about reprioritizing money. We're going to try to strike provisions from this bill, money that comes from hard-working taxpayers being spent in a way unrelated to COVID. So stay tuned, keep good cheer, stay hydrated, but this is a debate worth having, and I regret very much that we could not find common ground here. To find it, you have to seek it, and this is the one area where we were doing a pretty damn good job, I thought, working together as Republicans and Democrats, spending a lot of money because there was a need out there. Today, we're going to spend a lot of money, most of it not related to COVID, and it's going to be along partisan lines. It's unfortunate, but it's a choice my Democratic colleagues made, and we're going to hold them to that choice. With that, I yield the floor.
Mr. President.
Senator.